The next production for the Springboro Community Theater is The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime. What does that mean? What a title. We're going to tell you. Hi, I'm Maureen Russell Hodson, and this is Springboro Here and There. We are here in the theater along with Aaron Brewer, who is the director of this production. Hey, Aaron.
Hello.
So that's quite a big title.
It is.
But it's a big show in terms of theme and message, right?
Absolutely. It is definitely a very big show. Obviously, you can see a little bit of our set behind us. It's a little bit minimalist from the set standpoint, but we've got a lot of tech elements. We've got a really big story that we're looking to tell here. So,
without giving too much away, because it is a mystery, right? Tell us about the show.
So the story is about a 15-year-old boy named Christopher Boone. He is on the autism spectrum, so he sees the world a little bit differently from how most people see it. So the story starts with the murder of a neighborhood dog named Wellington. And Christopher decides he is going to set out and do a little bit of detective work to find out who killed Wellington and solve the mystery of the curious incident of the dog in the nighttime. So he kind of starts this journey to uncover the mystery of who killed Wellington. And in the course of the show, kind of discovers a lot more about himself, about his family, and kind of broadens his view of the world throughout the course of the show.
And all good messages and themes that we can all use.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's a great way to look at things.
Absolutely. And I mean, the show tackles a lot of really heavy subject matter. That's part of why I wanted to direct the show, is I think it's super important to kind of represent a community that is not always seen in a lot of theater productions. The autism community is not very well represented in terms of kind of stage productions and the visibility in the community. So that's why I thought it was really important for us to put on this show. It's got a really, really good message, and the cast is doing an absolutely wonderful job of telling the story.
Well, and I always give Springboro Community Theater credit because, as I said, you look outside the box, you introduce people to things that maybe they didn't know they wanted to learn about, or ideas that are new and fresh, and it's always something different. And this set is actually different. This does not look like a typical theater set.
Correct. We definitely wanted to take a little bit of a minimalist approach to our set design with this show. This story takes place in a lot of different areas. As Christopher's traveling, he is in his own house, he's at his school, he's walking around the neighborhood. He makes a couple little trips throughout the course of the show that we won't reveal to the audience, part of the mystery there. So there's a lot of different locations that he travels to. So rather than trying to build in all of those locations, we wanted to go for something a little bit more kind of cerebral in terms of the approach there. Christopher's mind works in a very, very unique way, so we wanted a very unique set to kind of reflect that as well.
And the show opens this Friday.
It does.
So review the dates for us.
So it opens this Friday the 16th, it runs the 16th, 17th, and 18th, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then runs the next weekend as well. The 25th, 26th, and 27th, I believe, is the dates for that.
Okay, and tickets are borotheater.org.
Borotheater.org. You can buy tickets on there. Plenty of tickets still available, so please come and see the show.
What message or what do you want people to take away after seeing the production?
My biggest thing that I think even my production team, as we've been putting it together, have been taking away is that everyone sees the world in a different way, and it's very important to think about how others would be potentially viewing certain situations, and being very cognizant of walking a mile in someone else's shoes before you make a judgment about an individual, because they may see and experience something in a very, very different way from the way that you would. And I think it's also very important to just be yourself and embrace who you are as a person, because that's what makes you you and makes you very special. And I think that's one of the key themes throughout the course.
Yeah, I can tell your heart is in this production. Yes. I know you've directed other productions here before. This is an all-volunteer cast. Give us an idea about the cast and how you cast the show.
So we have a cast of 10. So there are 4 principal roles who they play just one character throughout the course of the show. And then we have 6 additional individuals who play what we refer to as our voices. So they act as other characters that Christopher interacts with throughout the course of the show. And then they also act as Christopher's inner kind of monologue. And as he's hearing and exploring the world, I frequently refer to them as our Greek chorus for this show. Okay. Everyone is bringing a lot of different kind of emotions. They're bringing personal experiences into the show. We had a lot of character development sessions to talk about how these individuals would potentially approach this situation, how they would interact with Christopher and how he would interact with them. So we did a lot of rehearsals where we were just sitting and talking through what was happening in the course of the show. They are doing a wonderful job at embracing these different characters. Some of them have 4 or 5 different characters that they play throughout the course of the show, and they're bringing really unique things to each of them. As we were casting the show, we saw them and we read them in different combinations, and it made it very difficult. We had a lot of different potential combinations that we could have put in this show, and I am 100% thrilled with the final casting that we ended up with.
There's a ton of talent that performs on this stage. I'll just say that.
Absolutely.
Not only as a director, but also as an actor. I include you in that as well.
Thank you.
Now, the subject seems kind of heavy. Is it a heavy show? Is it something?
It is definitely a heavy show.
Okay.
There's a lot of adult themes. There's a little bit of language in it as well, so probably not one for the kids unless you're okay with having those conversations with them. It's definitely a little bit more adult oriented.
Could be a good conversation starter.
It absolutely could. I think it's very important. The subject matter is very important. So if you are willing to kind of look past the language in some of those pieces of the production, I think it's a great one to start conversations with your kids and with your parents and really anyone that you know. I think it's a great conversation starter.
And while the show may not be familiar to a lot of people, it's an award-winning show, and it has it's stellar in terms of the number of awards it's received.
Absolutely. It was started on the West End. Obviously, it's originally based on the book by Mark Haddon, was adapted into the stage version, had a production on the West End, had a Broadway production as well that was really, really well received several years ago. All in all, I think it's the storyline of the show and the design elements that you can really bring to it make for an absolutely wonderful production.
Well, we can't wait to see it. And again, it's this weekend, September 16th, 17th, and 18th. And next weekend, go to boroughtheater.org for tickets. You might also see Aaron walking around here. You can, because your directors are always around the set as well, right?
I enjoy watching my own shows, so I'll do the curtain speech and the introduction, and then I'll take my seat in the audience and watch the production, because I have been watching this for several weeks now of them just running this show and putting it together.
It's like giving birth, right?
It's absolutely wonderful to just watch them. They make new and unique choices every single time, and I'm completely entertained every single time that I watch it. So I'll sneak into the back of the audience and watch it myself.
And we'll guarantee that you will leave maybe thinking a different way or appreciating folks from different viewpoints.
Absolutely. I hope the show opens up everyone's eyes a little bit to how others potentially see the world, and I hope everyone gets something from it.
Yeah, you be you. That's a great way to wrap it up.
Absolutely.
For more information, again, you can go to boroughtheater.org, or you can visit our website, ci.springboro.oh.us, and we will see you also on Facebook.